All right. I'm horrible at doing live streams, but I hope this works. If you can hear me, let me know. You gotta let me know. I gotta have some sound, right? Join the live stream. Let me know. I just want to chat. Real Frank, can you hear me? That's the main thing I want to hear. Paul, what's going on? Thank you so much. Hello from Poland. Can you hear me, guys? Yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down. What's up, Stanley? What's going on? All right, you can hear me. Fantastic. Oh my god. I just wanted to reach out and connect and say hello. I've been trying to do this live stream for about an hour. You'd think live streaming would be really easy, but no, not for me. No, it's not for me. The big issue I have with live streaming is I can do it off my phone. This is my phone's my camera, but I'm connecting through my computer because I like the studio lighting. I'm in my studio. If I live stream when I'm out driving around as an Uber driver, that's pretty easy. But then I'm holding the phone in portrait mode and etc. So I thought I'd just connect, share some stories, hear some of your stories. So I'm looking at the chat. If you want to let me know, I got somebody from Poland. Thank you, Paul Stanley. Thanks for joining the Thrive channel. Um, Paul and Stanley as Thrivers. You should know that I did a live stream today just for Thrivers, Thrive members, the paying members of the channel. And I don't think it recorded. I did a live stream for like 2 hours today, and that live stream didn't work. So I just talked to myself for 2 hours. How's that? So I'm a great Uber driver, but I'm not a very good live streamer. So we've got 9 people on the live stream. And what I want to do today, and this is just fun connect. I want to know where you're from. If you can type a quick story, inside of no, it's not a paid live stream. It's not a paid. Real Frank, I have if you want to, you can join Thrive. It's like $3 a month and you get exclusive content where I kind of show a little bit behind the scenes. And so a lot of the Thrive members wanted to know how do I produce my my daily podcast show. And it's not daily, but the daily drive. And so did this 2 hour live stream thinking I'm sharing with everybody how I produced the show, and I did nothing. It was pretty bad. Real quickly, before we get going, I just want to shout out to Red Tiger. Thank you so much for being a sponsor of the channel. And I have my Android phone over here. So thank you. Shout out to Gig U. So you got Gig U. Shout out to them. Thank you so much. Now, what I want to know is where are you right now? Are you driving this weekend? How much you think you're gonna make? Are you gonna Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, anything else? And I'm gonna be reading your stories and kind of go from there. Okay, let's see here. Stanley says, I'm kind of bummed. My drive car is in the shop. Oh yeah, but regular car accident, not involved rideshare. Had to share cars with kids. That's kind of where I'm at. So my Tesla, for those that don't know, my Tesla is in the shop. It's a wiring issue. And before they give it back to me, before I said, please do not give it back to me. I said, test every wire. And so it's really expensive. I just don't want to go through this again. And I should get it back today. So I've been sharing. Levi, you've been cutting your hours, sir. Yeah, I know a little bit, a little bit. But my Prius is I'm sharing my car with my Prius with my wife, and her sister's in town and they want to go out and do a bunch of stuff. So they have the car, which leaves me, you know, here at the house, the studio producing stuff. So that's kind of stuff like that. So let's see what we got here. We got St. Louis says, Levi, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Levi, have you been cutting your hours? Yes, I have been cutting my hours. It's mainly a function of not having 2 cars, having 1 car in the house. And plus, it gets really slow here during the summertime. so I'm not too I know I'm only gonna make $500 a week, so, like, I'm gonna go Uber later on tonight, but I'm just gonna do that. Suzanne. Oh, nice. All right. Hello. I'm not a driver, but an occasional passenger to the airport. I like your insights. Well, thank you so much, Susan. I appreciate it. Wiz from Jamaica. Gosh, it's so nice. So nice to be in warm Jamaica. It's like 40 degrees outside right now. It's miserable here in upstate New York. So I'll check in the chat in just a second. You guys keep telling me where you're at. I'll go through it. I'll scroll through it. Um, I want to kind of just tell you some stories. Do you want to hear some stories? I got some funny stories, some sad stories. They're all true stories about me being an Uber driver. If you're interested, just give me a thumbs up. I want to see some stuff from you guys. Paul says, I'm from Southern Ohio, but I'm on vacation in Daytona Beach. Nice. Here's the stories I've got. I'm going to title these stories. So you tell me which one of the four stories you want to hear first. There's I love you. That's story number one. Burp. That's story number two. Drone story. So there's a drone involved. Vibrator. So there you go. Four stories. Which one do you want to hear first? We go. Craig says he's in Dallas. Nice. Fantastic. Susan's in New Jersey. Susan, thumbs up. So you want to hear some stories? I like it. Vote. Let me know which story you want to hear first. I'm going to respond to whoever I see on here. So it's I love you, burp, drone, vibrator. All right. Paul picked burp. He was the first one. All right. Notes. There you go. All right. So here, I'm going to tell you this story. Burp. Susan, we'll do the I love you one next. All right. Okay. Now, burp. It's like 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So it's in the morning. And I pull up to this house and there's a woman on the porch, but she's like pointing at me like this. She's like, wait, wait. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I'm on this curb, I'm waiting. And this really big man, an older man, 60s, maybe 70s, but he's big. We're talking like 6 foot six, 300 pound grown man comes stumbling out of the door. And she kind of helps him down the stairs and he like flies, like stumbles all the way to my car. He's clearly not walking well. He's really drunk, is what we come to find out to be. And so he kind of like lands on the side of my car, just boom, boom, and just slaps right on the side of my car because he couldn't stop. He was like, it's like a 747 coming in for a landing. Brrr, boom, and he just whacks into the side of my car. She helps him open the door and he gets in. Now this is my Prius. This is before I had my Tesla. So this is an older story, a couple years ago. And he gets in the car by laying down and he lays across the seat and he gets one foot in, like his left foot in. He gets his left foot in, but his right foot, he couldn't get it in. He had these massive feet, let's say like size 15 shoes or something like that. And they had corrective things on them too. And it kept getting caught between the door and the bottom of the car trying to get his foot in. So I'm leaning back and I'm looking at him like this. I'm looking at, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And the lady who's trying to help him with the shoe, she can't pick up his shoe. She's like, "He's fine, he's fine." And he's not really talking. But when she gets the shoe in, she kind of scrunches him in and pushes him in. His knees go up to his chest to some extent. He's laying across the back seat of my car. And she just shuts the door and she walks away. She doesn't even like confirm with me or anything like that. So now I got this massive drunk old man in the backseat of my car laying down flat with this kind of knees up. And so I'm like, okay, I can do this. It was like a 10-minute ride. It was like a really short ride. So I'm like, okay, 10 minutes. I can do anything for 10 minutes. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see you guys up there. So I got this drunk, big old man laying down, and I'm like, "Hey, can you sit up at least?" And he, and he kind of it takes a lot of like turning and motion and squeezing and scrunching to get himself all the way up. And he kind of you can see him rise, like rising from the dead. From looking in the rearview mirror, I see him rising over, and he finally boom kind of sits up. Now, he sits up, but his hat's still on the ground because he was wearing like a fedora. Old guys like me, when we're drinking, we wear fedoras kind of thing, right? So you can imagine this guy. And he's down there. So he starts to reach for the fedora, which is on the floor, but he's too big. He's too fat. He can't. So he has to like kind of lean all the way back down. He puts the fedora on. He's got the fedora on. He's kind of sitting like this with the fedora. And he goes, Uber? I'm like, yeah, you're my Uber. I'm your Uber or whatever. So we start to drive. And he's kind of just if you've ever driven a drunk person, you know they're really drunk because you can hear them like shifting in the car. You can hear their head hitting sometimes the window and stuff like that. So as I get to the first stop sign, it's cold. It's cold outside. It's like 20, 30 degrees outside. It's winter in upstate New York. But I get to the first stop sign and I can hear him kind of boom, boom, hit his, even though I was stopping slow, I was doing a really good pro stopper. He hits the back of the seat right here next to me. And I turn around, and this is where it gets gross. Trigger warning, spoiler alert, whatever. Three, two, one, it's going to get gross. Okay. I turn around and I look at him, and he looks at me, and I'm like, hey, are you okay? I'm like this. Are you okay? And he has this hat on. And he's like this. And he burps right into my face. I'm like this in this waft of stale, cheap beer and sausage just engulfs the entire car. It is so gross. It was the biggest, grossest from the bowels of inside of him came way up and out and wafted up toward me. And it is intoxicating. It was so made my eyes water. It was such a gross burp. So I'm like, oh, we gotta get going. I gotta get this guy out of my car. I got like 9 more minutes to go, right? So he ends up just I turn the corner to kind of get onto the main road and accelerate a little bit, and he just boom, falls right back over. So he's laying down across the seat. And the car stinks, but it's 30 degrees outside. So I'm rolling down the window. I'm like rolling down the window, and he's like, "It's cold." But I'm like ignoring him. I could care less what he feels at this point in time. I need fresh air in the car. And so I grab an air freshener off I got these little air freshener sticks and I kind of stick it up to my nose and I'm driving like this with the windows down. But guys, it gets worse. It gets worse. So he's drunk, he's burped, the car stinks. I'm driving with the windows down. It's 30 degrees outside. It's freezing. I'm shivering with adrenaline just because I got a drunk guy, and I'm shivering because I'm cold and I got this thing out of the windows. And I turn the next corner to get on the main road to take him, to now we're like 8 minutes left in this drive. And there's a construction thing. It was a surprise construction thing. Maybe it was a wreck. I can't remember, but I got stuck in traffic. And I couldn't get out of it. I was literally stuck for like 15 minutes with the car parked, him in the back seat. Ooh, Uber, we going somewhere? He could sense that the car was stopped. He might have burped a few more times for all I know, because the car continued to stink. And I'm sitting there in traffic with my wind thing like this, and I'm leaning out the window trying to breathe, not trying to talk to this guy. And yeah, I got stuck in like a one block construction thing. I couldn't move the car for like 15 minutes. It was the worst. But that's, if you've watched any of my content, there's some fun stuff or whatever, but this is what happens. I finally break out of the traffic. We move up the road. I get to the place where I'm going to drop them off. And when I get there, there's a man and a son. A man, maybe let's say in his 40s, and a son, like let's say in his 10-year-old son. And they're out on the street. The little boy had like a ball. And as I pull up, I remember looking out the window, and the man a little younger than me, but whatever. He looks at me and he waves, and I wave at him. So I assume this is where I'm going to drop this old guy off. And I said, "Yeah, he's in the back seat." And now I'm projecting. I don't really know, but it's pretty safe to say that the old man is the grandfather. Then there's the father, and then there's a son, the 10-year-old son, grandson of the old man in the back seat. And then the father, the middle age, the middle one of the group, he's like, "Come on, pops, let's get him out." And he's like, and he said something like, "Hey, Junior, go tell such and such that he's here." Because remember, it's 10 in the morning, and it's like they've dealt with this drunk old man many times. So the little boy, 10-year-old, whatever, has a little ball in his hand. He just drops it sadly. The ball doesn't even really bounce. It's not like a soccer ball, but almost symbolic or emblematic, or the ball just kind of fell flat. Like all the air was let out of it. And what was a funny, goofy, almost gross story, right? Well, it wasn't almost gross, it was really gross. Story of an old man who's drunk turned into like a really sad old drunk story. And they took a lot of prying, a lot of work to get him out of the car because he almost had to crawl out of the this other door because he couldn't get out that way. And so this old man was actually just like laying on the grass. I had to go down the block and turn around and come back to get out. It's like a dead end street. And so I turn around and get out, and I pass on the side, and I wave at the little boy, and he just looks at me, and I see the old man laying down on a very cold day in the grass. I don't know. There you go. That's the burp story. Let's I don't know. I'm always sentimental and nostalgic and melancholy. That's the stories that get with me. So we got 16 people viewing the chat. Let's see what kind of I got enthralled with that story. Let's see what you guys say here. Susan, yeah, we'll do the I love you story next. I'm going to do four stories. Burp, just that was number one. I love you, drone, and vibrator. Those are the other stories. So I'm going to do the I love you story next here. Let's see what you guys got here. Where are you guys Uber driving right now? Where are you guys at? Let's see here. Divi says, "Hi, Levi. Really nice video. I was wondering if you could help me more with high quality editing and thumbnails." Oh, if you could help me? No, I appreciate it. You'd probably make me a very good YouTuber, but I don't have any money. I'm an Uber driver. Joey's out in LA. Let's see your notes says, "Levi, I really appreciate your passenger vignettes you post. Thank you. That was kind of an example of one, a storytelling." Michael's out in Syracuse. Nice. Coming out your way, Michael. Actually, Michael, I have promos in Cortland tonight starting at 5. I might go down there. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see here. But notes was like, "Levi, I appreciate your passenger vignettes you post. Wonder what vignette about the driver you would just look like from the passenger's POV. Just as creative thought experiment." Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting. What do you think? I think about that all the time. Notes from the path. What do passengers think about me? It's really awkward. Now I'm not too. I'm old, so I don't really care how I look and stuff like that. But I've always thought, like, what do they see? Like, they get the back of my head. They get like this ear. Okay, you want to hear something funny? I always trim this ear hair because I'm an old man. Oh, you met me at the Palace Theater. Nice. Was that one of there's um the Palace Theater in 2016. I'm trying to think what it was that the no, that was after there's a Bill Cosby thing I did. I went and saw there. I was here. Let me get a drink. Yeah, but what do passengers think about us? They see this part of us. I'm very conscious about not having warning lights on my car, my dashboard. I'm very conscious about not having things on my phone because I think I've seen so many TikTok videos of passengers filming. Oh, the congressional debate. Okay, nice. So many like things of like pat drivers what the driver's listening to because if they have something in their ear and they're listening to like a YouTube video or whatever. So I'm always thinking about that. I trim this ear hair all the time, like almost every day, because I think they can see my ear. I'm very vain about that. Um, so yeah, so there you go. That's my stuff. Maybe I should do that. That'd be kind of fun. I've been trying to write stories from a different perspective. One of the really creative challenges is I can write a story from my perspective, but what if I wrote an omnipotent Friends with Chris? Oh, yeah, Chris, nice, fantastic. Chris is out in Hamilton, right? So there we go. Um, an omnipotent storyteller, like looking at the Uber, my car from the outside. So you got me in the front. There you go. Okay. Um, story number two. Susan, you asked for I love you. So I've got 4 stories. I just told burp. You can rewind the chat to get the burp story. And then you've got I love you, drone, and vibrator. So Susan, you said I love you is the next story. This is this is a really funny story. This one has no melancholy ending to it. This is just more just Levi embarrassing. Okay. I'm Uber driving. That's how almost all my stories start, right? I'm Uber driving. Take care. Thanks, notes. Um, I'm Uber driving and I'm waiting for a passenger. We'll call her Susan. Almost every fake name I use is Susan. So let's call her Susan. And she comes down and she's got like luggage. Okay, so I'm taking her to um, the airport or the bus station or something like that. But she's got like a little bag, uh, like like a plastic bag with like a box inside of it, like you would get from a bakery. I'm like, okay, there you go. Um, and so I put her luggage in the trunk of the car. She gets in the car as I'm loading the car luggage. So I get in the car, and when I get in the car, it smells wonderful. The car smells amazing. Like, and again, I remember she's got that little bag, those little box of cookies or something like that. So, as I'm like, "Hey, Susan, welcome." I was like, that smells really nice. What kind of cookies are those, or what kind of bakery, or something like that?" I said something like that, and she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, no, it just like smells like cookies." And I say, "I saw your bag with your box of cookies, or is it not cookies? What is it?" And she said it was like, I don't know. She said it was books or something. I was like, "These are not cookies; they're books." And I was like, "Well, what?" I'm like, "What can that be?" Because it was clearly that smell was not part of my car until she got in it. And I was like, "Oh, well, do you have cookies in the other bag?" Or and then she looks at me through the mirror and she's like, "I think you're talking about my perfume." It was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. I'm like, "Oh," because I feel like perfume or maybe what somebody's wearing crosses that line, especially when I'm an old 50-year-old man and I've got some 20 something year old college girl in my car. I'm not supposed to notice those things. I think in polite society, yeah, there's a distance between those things. And I noticed her perfume, but that's not I love you. Just wait for that. So you can imagine our ride continued in very awkward silence, very awkward silence. Um, but mask up. But the story was, but the smell, excuse me, the smell was intoxicating. It was just it smelled so good. I mean, it was making me hungry. And and I guess there's perfume for that smells like cookies. I don't really know. I mean, most perfumes are very I don't like a lot of colognes and perfumes. They give me headaches, and migraines. So I don't like a lot of strong smells, but cookies, I love a good baked good. So I'm thinking about baked goods, which makes me think about my wife because she's, a beautiful woman. What's going on, Lisa? Um, and so I'm just kind of daydreaming as I'm driving this car woman because the ride is silent because I've already made it awkward talking that her perfume smells really good or something. And when we get to the spot to drop her off, and I jump out of the car like I always do to unload the luggage or whatever, and I hand her her stuff or whatever, I said, "I love you." So embarrassed. Uh, um, I did. I literally looked at that 20-something-year-old girl. It was just a way to, like I wasn't trying to say I love you. I was trying to say goodbye. I was just trying 'cause, uh, it was so bad. It was so bad. And I took it back right away. I was like, "Oh, here's your luggage, and hey, I love you." I mean, "Oh, hey, safe trip," whatever. And she did not like that at all. She did not like that at all. She she was very, very she just looked at me like, and then she turned around and walked away. Needless to say, I did not get a tip. I don't think I was, being horrible or whatever, but you and I both know that the world doesn't like old men talking to young women. I just that age gap or whatever. I'm sure it works the other way, maybe. I don't know, but I know where I stand in this world, so I keep a very healthy distance from any of it. I don't, I don't want to even get remotely close to any of that, and I know it's tough because I'm an Uber driver, and a lot of my passengers are college students. I take a lot of frat boys and sorority girls to parties and all that kind of stuff. And there's really weird moments so I try to be very focused on what I do, which is drive people safely, don't get involved in their lives and stuff like that. So it was such an embarrassing moment to number one, tell her inadvertently that her cookies smell good when she doesn't have any cookies. She's just wearing perfume. And then B, as I'm sitting there awkwardly thinking about, I'm making this issue bigger in my mind as I'm driving, the 15, 20 minutes she's in my car or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a dork. I'm such a dork. I'm such a dork. So I'm thinking I'm going to make up for it when she gets out of the car and I hand her the luggage. And just because I'm a nice guy and I say, I love you. Whoa, whoa, I meant, and she was not having it. So there you go. Susan, was that the story that you were expecting? Is that I'm very self-deprecating when it comes to a lot of my stories about myself. So there you go. Where are you guys at? Let's see. We got Lisa in here, Susan, Dominic, Great White Pope says, yep, mask up. There we go. Almost all the passengers out. KRZ says almost all the passengers after getting out into the car say hello and turn their phones on and don't say anything. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people get into an Uber and first thing they do is get on their phone? I think it's a couple of things. That's a really interesting thought. Now, I'd say about a third of my passengers. I was waiting for the passenger to say they loved you. Um, yeah, I don't. Susan, I'm gonna add that to my story list here. I have one other story that you may find funny. That's kind of along that line here. I will add that story here. I'm gonna leave that one for last, Susan. There you go. A little clickbait. Keep you hooked onto the channel for a little bit. Um, I'll do one more story. So the first story that I told today was burp, and then the second one was I love you. We've got drone and vibrator, and then I'm gonna leave a fifth story for there you go. Okay. Blazer says, hey man, have you ever rented a car for rideshare and had a roach problem? I rented a car, yes. Did I have a roach problem? No. If I did, I would just throw the car away and get another one. I would quickly return the car. But KRZ made a really good point saying, and I'm going to restate your point here. It says almost all passengers after getting into the car and saying hello turn on their phones and don't say anything. And I'm like, why? Why would people do that? Now I personally don't get too offended by that because of the transaction. Number one, they ordered a car. B, if we make eye contact and they say hello, if I'm okay with it. I would prefer them to say, "Hey, I'm just gonna jump on my phone for a little bit," or just kinda tell me what they're gonna do, but whatever. I'm okay with it. But why do some passengers do that? I think, number 1, it's addiction. I know I'm addicted to my phone. Scrolling through TikTok, I could spend an entire day scrolling through TikTok and YouTube, X, the Twitter app. Um, yeah, I could just do it all day. I think it's an addiction thing. I think it's also a little bit of a freedom thing. I really can't scroll a lot on my phone because my work involves driving. So I'm driving a car, so I'm not scrolling on my phone there. Then when I come home, if I'm with my family, it's not really healthy for me to be scrolling on my phone in front of my kids and stuff like that, my wife and things like that. Um, and then when I come up to my studio and I do work, I make videos with you guys, I I can't get on my phone because my phone is is the thing I'm using to make the content with. It's right there. I'm looking at it. I think we as a society have an addiction problem to social media, our phones, playing video games, like you say, Lisa. Getting on there and just playing whatever. Oh, you had somebody that told me about my channel. Nice, I appreciate it. That's nice. Um, yeah, I do live in a place, Susan, where people, yeah, are very nice. Upstate New York is country like, is people are very nice. But I think people are very addicted to their phone. And here's the thing. When they get into an Uber, it's like a chance. It's just a chance. I can get on my phone guilt-free. The bus, an airplane, someplace where I'm sitting and I don't owe anybody any kind of my attention. It's a great way to justify I'm gonna get on my phone. It's kind of like a guilt-free kind of pleasure. But KRZ, I think it's even more than that. Our addiction to our phones, my addiction to my phone, makes me not want to connect with all the people around me. I would prefer to not talk to somebody. Now, okay, let's pretend for a second. If I go to a park, a park bench, and I go sit on that park bench. Previously, before having a phone, I might have a book or a newspaper, magazine, or I just sit there but I'm enjoying the world around me, but I'm not engrossed in my phone. Even if I'm reading a book, I might be engrossed in it. You're still cognizant of the world around you to some extent. But sometimes the phone can be so, especially if you put headphones on. Now it's like all your senses and everything's like dialed into that phone. So there's that. But I think our addiction to digital connection, even this chat, I'm guilty of it right now to some extent. It's preventing real human connection. And I think a lot of people are uncomfortable now with real human connections. Not saying that we have to be best friends with our people in our car. I don't care. I don't know them. They don't know me. But there's something valuable to society in that awkward small talk. And it doesn't have to be even a meaningful conversation, but people want to hide out away from it all. So it kind of progressed KRZ in my mind from this idea of like, oh, it's fun to scroll to an addiction to now it's preventing me from it's preventing me from having real human connections. And I know that's kind of been the real interesting part about being an Uber driver. I don't know about you guys. I realize it's made me a healthier person meeting all of these people every day. And even if I don't talk to the passenger, I feel like I'm part of their life for that brief moment. Like if I pull up to Lisa, you're in my neck of the woods here in Syracuse. Mike, I think you are too. Um, Even if I go pick up somebody on the south side of Syracuse, the bad part of town, maybe let's say, and they're going to work. I'm going to take them to, for the most part, they either work at Loretto, the nursing home, right, or something like that, maybe Van Dyne or the hospital, or something like that. And they get in my car, they say hello, and then they put their headphones on and they go away. There's a part of me that feels like I'm connecting with them, going like, wow, they're going to go do their thing, and without me, they wouldn't get there. There's a sense of pride. It's so cheesy and so small, but I'm willing to tell you guys that's how I feel about it. And it's like, who are they going to care for today? What is their role at the hospital? Are they a nurse? What are they doing? And so, whereas I feel like if I'm on my phone, I don't think they have that same feelings about me. I don't think the passengers feel the same way. Because remember, I'm driving. I'm not doom scrolling on my phone. I'm in the world, not in this fake world here. And because I'm in the world and around me, I can hear noises and sounds and all that kind of stuff. That person's with me. So I think they're part of it with me. And so there's just something about close proximity to humans in tight, confined spaces that it makes it personal. So interesting kind of thought. Yeah. Why do people do it? I think it's that they're addicted. They get a break away from society to some extent. But I think a lot of people are just afraid of that brief moment of human connection, talking about the weather or whatever. It, and I think society's changed. I think 20, 30 years ago, it wouldn't have been the same. I think modern society is like that. So, mm, yeah, I also noticed that older people are more talkative than younger ones. Yeah, for sure. They're better tippers. They're comfortable in that space, right? Older people are comfortable. Me, my generation, I'm 51, and I I grew up without social media. The internet didn't exist until I was in high school, really. So I'm going to define older Susan as me. So if you're 51 or older, there you go. How are you? And thank you. Oh, self-made millionaire. Hey, so everybody in the chat, shout out to self-made millionaire. Your question, your comment to me just threw me for a loop and I had to make a video about it. My last video that I just made was self-made millionaire. He made a comment, or she. I don't know if you're a guy or girl, to be honest with you. I'm gonna assume guy. Um, but made a comment about in New Jersey making $15 an hour and it not being acceptable. Okay, you're a guy, good. And I agree, it's not acceptable. And I feel like we are stretching as a group of drivers for somebody else to solve that problem for us. And I think the reality is there's probably something else that we could be doing that makes more money. And so self-made millionaire, my if you are a self-made millionaire, you know how to do it, right? But there's this idea of like maybe driving for $15 an hour is not the right solution. Instead of making getting paid more, well, we should get paid more and having either a union or a government or somebody else solve that for us. Maybe we could just take our own personal talents, whatever they might be, and do that. So I use that analogy or metaphor. I think it's an analogy, but that device of Wayne Gretzky saying he skates to where the puck is going to be. And so I kind of use that device, that literary device throughout the entire episode, talking about skating to where the puck is going to be. The big story that I thought was really interesting that I found was the idea of like Tesla and Elon Musk stopping the um the Model S and the Model X to produce robots. and there's no robots anywhere. But yet here's this guy shutting down two profitable production lines and going to end up produce robots. Well, why? I think he's skating to where the puck is going to be. Doesn't mean I think Uber drivers should get paid $15 or anything like that. And I just don't think there are solutions within that market that are going to solve that. I think we have all have better skills that we can use to help us make the money that we want to make. So let's see here. Catering does that for you. Yeah, for sure, Lisa. If you guys don't know, Lisa is a caterer, deliverer person here in Syracuse. U-turn delivery is what we're talking about. I want to say, Lisa. Self-made says, and a lot of BS going on Lyft. Yep, fake account. Yeah, that video with Sergio was nuts, wasn't it? All right, let's see here. Food Trader says, Levi Stories. It seems like I'm going to waste $1 million over a 30-year period from expenses. How can we keep more? I don't know what you mean by that. New Jersey minimum wage is 15. New York minimum wage is 16, 17. That's for sure. Yep. I've made my own business. That is super smart, man. Thank you. I'm glad that you're doing that. That taxi service, that's what I'm talking about. Kudos. Okay, now I've got three more stories. One I'm going to leave to the very end. I think it's not just that you're. I'm just going back to the chat. I get distracted. I'm not a live streamer that's really good at this. I see your guys' comments and they kind of distract me from the game here. But yeah, I know you're not a self-made millionaire, but you will be. That's. I think you're skating to where the puck is going to be. I'm cheering for you too, man. Go kill it. That's gonna be awesome. All right. So the first story I did was burp. It was about a guy burping in my car and making it stink to high heaven. Um, and a story about being drunk at 10 a.m., stuff like that. Then there was I Love You, where I told a young college girl student that her cookie perfume smelled good. I thought she had cookies. I didn't realize it was perfume. So I told her that it smells really good, and I was embarrassed. And then so I got flummoxed, and I got blah, 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 my brain got scrambled. And so when I handed her luggage back to her at the when I dropped her off, I said, "I love you." So and it just came out naturally, and I didn't mean that. I took it back right away, and she looked really upset with me. Okay, so I've got two more stories that you guys can choose from. I'm going to see who picks one. There's the drone story, and then there's the vibrator story. Susan, you've already picked. You said vibe story next, but you've already picked. I'm going to see what else somebody else says here. So I've done I love you. I've done a burp. I've got drone and vibrator. And I am judging you based upon what story you pick. Come on. Who's here? We got 21 people in the chat. Come on, you guys let me know. What story do you want to hear next? If I don't see anything else in the chat, I'm gonna pick a vibrator story because Susan picked that one. Come on. Oh, Chimp. Okay, Chimp, way to go. You came through with drone. All right, we'll save the vibe story for next. All right, let's do drone. Drone story. All right. This is a great story for people that like to talk about long. Oh, Chris says drone too. Okay. All right. Long Uber rides. Now, I'm not an advocate for taking long Uber trips at all. They pay really low per mile. Then you got to drive back deadhead. And here in New York State, one of the big challenges we have is that if we take a long trip to like New York City, we have to drive back empty for a long period of time because we can't even legally drive in the city of New York. We can't pick up anybody. So there's like a big part of it where we kind of, it's really frustrating. Okay. So my friend, he launches a video production company. All right. Stare with me on this story. He launches a video production company. And when he buys, well, he didn't launch it, he bought it. And so when he bought it, it came with a drone. Now I'm thinking I wanted to incorporate drone footage into my video production. I wanted to have this. I was thinking about like aerial shots of like the car or whatever. And then I take a lot of long walks. So I asked my friend, I was like, "Hey, can I borrow your drone to test it out?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, go for it." And I take where did he buy this business? In Syracuse. It's a mom and pop shop. So he didn't pay that much money for it. Um, so he goes, yeah, take my drone for sure. So I go on the trail by my house. There's a trail right over there. And I take the drone, I fly it up really high, and I'm like tracking myself walking. So the shot kind of looks like top down, right? So you can see me looks like this, like you see a human walking like that. Is that that looks right? So the drone's kind of tracing me up high above it, and it kind of look like that. It doesn't really matter. So the drone's up high, and I'm walking, right? Whatever. It's hard to do visuals. Bear with me here. So the drone's up high, let's say 40, 50 feet above me, and it's looking over the top of me walking. But I got the drone in my hand as I'm walking, so I'm looking down at the controller, and I must have got disoriented because I thought the drone was gonna follow with me, but it went the other way. Like things are in reverse. I don't know. I got confused. Anyway, the drone flew into a tree. I flew my friend's drone into a tree, way up there too, like 50 feet above me on this trail, and I can't find it. I'm like looking around everywhere. I spend hours out there looking, hours. And so um I finally come in the house and I tell my wife what I did. I got the I got the controller but no drone. And my wife is very, she's like, I knew you were gonna crash that drone. And so I did. And so I went on the internet and I found the drone, and the drone was, let's say $300, $400. I can't remember what it was, something like that. I'm gonna say 400 just to make the story better. So it was a $400 drone. And so I owed my friend $400. And so my wife, being the lovely woman that she is, she says, "You need to go out and Uber drive to make this money up." And I didn't have any plans to Uber drive. It was like a Tuesday night. And I'm like, ah, God, okay. Tuesday night, whatever. I gotta go Uber drive. And I look at the Uber heat map, and Syracuse is dead on a Tuesday night. I'm like, I'm not going there. And I was like, I gotta make 300, $400. Now, if you Uber drive in Syracuse, you can go to Ithaca where Cornell is, and if you grind out 12 hours, you can come home with 300, $400 in cash. Now, I'm ignoring miles and cost and all. I just got to pay my friend back. I'm willing to trade out depreciation on my vehicle to pay my friend back the next morning. I don't want to wait. So I'm saying I'm going to go down to Ithaca then and drive. Now it's like 7 o'clock at night. I'm like, ugh. So I eat dinner, I drive, and I get on the road and I get it. And as I'm entering the city of Ithaca, I get my first Uber ride, and it's a 300 plus dollar trip from Ithaca, New York to 4.5 hours away to Brooklyn, New York. The very first trip. And I was like, this one trip could totally pay me back. This one trip could totally pay me back. I was like, okay. And okay, so I crashed my friend's drone. I needed money overnight. I'm willing to cash out depreciation. I don't care about miles or anything. I just got to get the cash. First trip, boom, payback. So as I pull up to go pick up the person, um, if you drive into college town, it's always college, young college students. This is a young college lady. She didn't speak English that well. Chinese, didn't speak English that well. And so I was like, okay, gotta. I told her up front, I was like, listen, I'll take you to Brooklyn. And I'm not one to ask for a tip. What am asking for though is that if you think I earned it by the end of this trip, I'm hoping to earn, a $75 tip for this trip or something like that. And I think reflecting back on it, a $75 tip would have made plus the fare pays in cash what I did. And she said, sure. She Venmoed me $75. And I wasn't trying to pressure her into a tip or whatever. I was just like, listen, I can't go to Brooklyn. And I don't know. So she tipped me $75 in Venmo. was like, let's go. So we're going to go. Now we left Ithaca, New York. Now this is where the story gets really, really good. We left Ithaca, New York, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. That means we're going to be rolling into Brooklyn around 1 a.m. Okay. Now, this girl, she doesn't really speak English. I mean, she does a little bit, but it's not like we're gonna talk for 4 something hours or whatever down there. Now, Ithaca, New York is in the middle of nowhere. You think there's farms in Georgia or Texas or whatever. I'm telling you what, Ithaca, New York, it's farm country. And to get from Ithaca, New York to New York City, you gotta drive on some really back roads, like no cellular connection kind of roads. So she gets in the car and I'm like, "Hey, just so you know, we're gonna go through some backcountry," and she didn't understand, but whatever. So, but we get driving, and I think she's really, really worried. So, like, where are we going? Like, why are we on these backcountry roads? And I'm driving and I'm pointing to the map, but I could see her in the back seat. Every time a light would go by, she's looking at her phone, then looking at me, looking at her phone, then looking at me. Like, is this psycho killer taxi driver or whatever gonna kill me tonight? Because we're in the middle of nowhere. And, I turn the music up a little bit just to kind of, relieve or whatever. And slowly but surely, like an hour into the trip, we're kind of on like a major highway by then, Route 17, if you guys are familiar with it here in upstate New York, but it's still country, right? And she falls asleep, which is great. That's a sign. If your passenger trusts you to fall asleep, they're pretty sure you're not going to kill them. It's a good sign, right? So she falls asleep. But here's where the real problem comes in. I drink fluids, not alcohol, but whatever. I'm drinking water, caffeine to stay awake. Well, you and I, as drivers, we know what happens when we drink a lot of fluids. About 2 hours, 2.5 hours into this trip, we're not in New Jersey yet. We're nowhere. We're in the middle of nowhere, and I gotta pee. I gotta pee so bad. Oh my god! Like my eyeballs were starting to float. So I'm shaking my knees, trying to not pee or whatever. And I got this young college student, this girl in the back seat, laying down kind of sideways a little bit, and she starts to snore. So she's snoring. Her mouth is open, snoring, and the whole time is all I can think of is like, I gotta pee, which isn't really that big of a deal, except it's nighttime, like late at night, in the middle of the country nowhere. She's sleeping. And so I started envisioning this problem. If I pull over at a gas station in the middle of nowhere, do I wake her? Like, wake up. I'm going to go pee. Will she understand what I gotta do? Do I have to like gesture somehow that I have to pee? I don't, the typical gesture where you put your hand over your crotch kind of thing. No, I don't want to do that. And if I don't wake her up and go in and I go pee and I come back out to the car, but she is waking up, will it even be worse? I think it'd be worse, right? It'd be totally worse. So I do what every good Uber driver does. I push through. I fight through. I don't have a diaper. I've never used a diaper, but I push through. I go for 2 more hours, not having to pee, but not peeing. Get all the way through the Lincoln Tunnel, go through Midtown Manhattan, end up, taking the Brooklyn Bridge over to where she needs to go. And as we're on the Brooklyn Bridge, I wake her up. I wake her up like, "Hey, we're in Brooklyn. We're in Brooklyn." And it took like 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes or whatever to drop her off at that place. And you'd think that the issue would be solved, right? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm in Brooklyn. I gotta pee really bad. Where do you go? Where do you go pee? I don't know. I do not know. I'm sure there are places, but I don't think a lot of the corner stores have places to go pee. It's a Wednesday morning at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning now, whatever time it is. I've made my money to pay my friend back on the drone, which is good. And so I do again what every good Uber driver might do. I find a back alley where there's a dumpster and I go run around behind it. Hopefully there's no security cameras, but there probably is, but there's security cameras of me. And those are the best. If you're driving, you know what I'm talking about. Those peas, when you've been holding it for so long, are some of the best peas of your life. There you go. And I made it safely back to upstate New York as the sun was rising the next day, and I paid my friend back that very morning. By 8 or 9 that morning, I had paid my friend back. So there you go. How's that story for a good one? You guys like that? These are my self-deprecating, horrible Uber driver stories where a guy burps in my car, how gross that was, how I told a passenger I love her and I didn't mean it. That was an accident. Then I have the drone, my friend, I crash it, but I pay him back by taking this really long, awkward trip. And how about that? Pretty good story. We'll see what's going on in the chat here. Um, oh yeah, if you ever go back down to the hotel, just go to the hotels. Yep, there you go. That's not a bad one. That's not a bad. But at 1 o'clock in the morning, let's just be honest here, Lisa. It's different when things are in the middle of the day. Liquids are the kryptonite. Yes, they are. Food trader. A lot of cows. Yes, sir, David. Lots of cows. Self-made millionaire says, "Watch Sergio, guys. We are getting paid soon." Hey, Sergio is a good friend of mine. As soon as I saw his face on all those videos, because he made a big thing. I texted him like, "Dude, Sergio, what's going on?" And he told me about how he Sergio is like the spokesperson for Uber drivers, isn't he? Every time I see a news article, um, there's Sergio. So what a guy! What a good guy. I love all the work that Sergio does. Sergio, Chris, the Show Me the Money Club, one of my favorite shows. Harry's channel, really, really good. Lisa says, I drove a couple of girls from Syracuse University down to Brooklyn in the middle of the night. P here now. Yeah, Lisa didn't say that. BS said that. Okay, well, how did it go, Lisa? Did they all fall asleep or did they stay awake? See, you're a woman, Lisa, so I think the girls would probably feel safer if you said, I have to stop and go to the bathroom. They probably spoke English too. That probably helped. Mm. All right. I have two more stories. And I said the vibrator one would be next. This is kind of a short story, but a great story. This is a short story, but a great story. We got 31 of you in the chat. This is great. Um, okay. I say vibrator, and you know what I mean. Um, okay. So I go to the airport. I'm about to go out and take some tides. There you go. I see here. One fell asleep. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Let me stop looking at the chat. I get so distracted by the chat. You guys can keep chatting. I'm learning how to live stream better. Bear with me. Let's talk about the vibrator. I get an order to go pick up somebody at the Syracuse airport. Um, and when I pull up, it's two people. It's a guy and a girl. And I realize they don't know each other. They just met. But so it's like a guy and a girl. And I always remember this. The guy had like Louis Vuitton luggage, stood out to me. I don't know why. And the woman had normal carry-on luggage, but it was both just two carry-on bags. And they were kind of like introducing themselves to each other as they're about to get in my car, which is fine. So I put his luggage in the trunk of my car, and then I put her luggage in the trunk of my car. Shut the trunk. They both get in. I get in the front seat. And then you can hear it. This vibrating thing. So I'm sitting there at the airport lot, not the airport lot, but the pickup spot, and I'm about to pull off, but I hear that noise. I mean, it's like this vibrating thing coming from my car. And I'm like, do you guys know what that is? What that sound is? And the guy's like, I don't know. And the girl's like, I don't know. I'm like, "It sounds like it's coming from the trunk of my car." And I was like, can we just check real quick?" And they're like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll check." All right. So I get out of the car. We all three go around to the trunk of the car. I open the trunk of the car. It's not the Louis Vuitton bag. It is not the Louis Vuitton bag. It's the normal carry-on. And you could hear it plain as day. Just going nutso in that bag. So now picture this. I'm s- I'm kind of standing in the middle, like in the trunk, looking at the two bags. The guy's over here looking over my shoulder, looking at his bag, and the girl is looking over my shoulder at her bag. And we can hear it. And it's not his bag. It's clearly her bag. Okay. So I'm hoping that the guy can help me in this situation now. Right? Because, but they don't know each other. They just met. they, they- so I turn around and I look at the guy like, what are we going to do here? And he looks at me like, not my problem. And so I turn and I look at the woman and I'm like, I think that's your bag that's vibrating. I didn't laugh, but honestly, I'm like, that's just your bag that's vibrating. And she looks me dead in the eye and is like, no, it's not. Stone cold. Stone cold. So now I'm like, what? What do I do? So I turn back and I look at the guy and he looks at me and he goes, I'm just gonna go sit in the back seat. And he leaves and walks around. And I'm like, do I make us what do I do about this? What do I care? Let's be honest. Do I really care? Do I okay. And I'm like, ma'am. Now he's the one that ordered the Uber. So it's like, I know his name. His name's Fred. I can see it on the app. I don't know her name, but I'm like, ma'am, do you want to check your bag? You could, I don't know. She goes, well, I'll take a look. I'll take a look. And it didn't happen that fast, so it took a little bit of, like, time for us to kinda go back and forth a little bit, and, let's say 30 seconds, and the guy actually comes back around. So I kinda back up, and the 2 of them are standing there looking at my trunk, and I'm kind of, like, behind them now, looking at them look. And the woman doesn't wanna rummage through her bag in front of us, but she has to admit that it's her bag is it's going off. So she puts her hand in the bag, but doesn't like open it. I mean, she just puts her hands in the bag, and you can see her rummaging around in her bag like this, trying to feel for whatever is vibrating. And then she goes, "Oh, I know what it is." And she grabs it. She pulls it out, and it's a Ziploc bag with like an industrial toothpaste or toothbrush. And it's and that thing is going that toothbrush was going nuts. And me and the other guy just he turns on and looks at me now, and I'm behind him, and I'm like, "Whew," and he's kind of like in his mind going, because those two had just met. And can you imagine? They're going to like a conference. They're business partners. They or they're whatever. So the whole conference, they're gonna be talking to each other, and and the whole time he's thinking like, the first time I meet this lady, but thankfully it was just a toothbrush and industrial. It was kind of gross. I was like, there was like a bunch of toothpaste all up in that stuff. But she clicks it off, puts it in the bag. We get out, and I drop them off at the conference hotel. They talk. I didn't talk to them the whole trip, but that was a pretty good one, huh? That's a pretty good story. Drop me a like and a follow if you like that story. Oh my gosh. Let's see let's go in the chat. Susan, yep, that's right. It was a great story. Very funny, very funny. That's how you get a UTI. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Let's see here. Not a lot of chat going on here, guys. Not a lot of chat. I'm hoping to know where you're driving, what kind of car you're driving, where you're driving. Um, Uber, Lyft, you're a DoorDasher. What are you guys doing here? All right. Albert says, I always keep an empty 32-ounce Gatorade bottle in the trunk. You'd be surprised when you fill it up. No. Oh gosh. Should I tell you a story like that? I don't know. I might keep that story for another day. An empty cup highway pee story. Jay's out in St. Petersburg, Florida. Bye. That's a really nice place. Chris, what's going on? Thank you. All right. So I'll just kind of recap some of the stories that we've had so far is burp, guy grossly getting drunk at 10 a.m., burping in my car. It stunk to high heaven like sausage and stale beer. It was horrible. Burped right in my face. It was the worst. Then how I smelled a passenger's perfume. I thought it was cookies, but it was her perfume, and I was so embarrassed. And I told her I loved you. There you go. Lisa's out in Syracuse. There you go. Luigi out in Atlanta. Hot Atlanta. Hot Atlanta. I love Atlanta. Atlanta's one of my favorite places. I got a lot of relatives just south of you, down in Macon and Warner Robins, that part of town. Then I shared a story about a drone. My friend, I crashed his drone and I needed to make some money overnight, but the story was really that I had to pee really late at night. It was really funny. We got Chris in Anaheim. That's nice. Another nice place. You guys are all in nice warm places. It's so cold here. Stanley says tonight when I get off of work, I have to travel home half an hour, then start to drive for 2 hours to make my goal of 75. Persistence. Yep, there you go. That is, you just got to bust it through it, man. It's so good. Jay says, I love the Tampa Bay area. Nice. 4 stadiums. Really nice. Waiting for a reserve ride, 45 bucks for 35 miles. I love those rides. I don't really hate waiting for reserve rides as much as I used to. I typically will get my car washed, that kind of stuff. Jose is in San Francisco. Stanley in Virginia Beach. Yeah, Virginia Beach is for lovers. I actually, my dad was in the Air Force, and we lived in at Langley Air Force Base back in the late 70s. Stanley, how about that? David down in the Carolinas. Shout out to the Carolinas. I love how people in the Carolinas, they like there's like three types of Carolina people. There's like the beach Carolina people, there's a mountain Carolina people, then there's like the Charlotte kind of people. The Charlotte people are just the Carolinas because Charlotte's right there on the border. Am I saying that right, David? There's probably more Carolinas. There's the NASCAR Carolinas because NASCAR's so big there. Oh, I should tell you that story too. And I'll tell you that. Let me give you a story about Carolinas and NASCAR real quick. Last weekend, if you are a NASCAR fan, I am not. I don't think I've seen a NASCAR race in my entire life, but I am very familiar with NASCAR being from the Carolinas. So this is a NASCAR story. So yes, last weekend on Saturday, I was taking an Uber ride from Ithaca down to Elmira. If you're not from here, don't worry about it. But Elmira might get like 3 flights a day. We got Nashville, Evie, and Orlando. Thanks, Eric. All right. We got Albert. Pinellas is more civilized than Tampa. Okay. John and Nashville. Nice. I like that. Okay. Let me tell you this funny NASCAR story. You're gonna like this one. This has happened last weekend. So I'm taking an Uber ride from Ithaca to Elmira. Now, Elmira is an airport that has like 1 flight a day. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's near Corning, New York, but it's south of Watkins Glen. And Watkins Glen is where NASCAR is. Okay. So I'm driving to this little small airport and I see an airplane fly over and it's a private jet. Okay. And it's probably going to Elmira. Then I see another private jet kind of fly over as we're getting closer. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of private jets landing in Elmira. I'm like, oh, it's Watkins Glen. There's some sort of NASCAR race. That's right. That's what's going on. Well, I didn't know it was NASCAR at the time, but I was thinking I knew there's a race. And so I'm like, okay, there's another one and another one. It's like 5 private jets landing. The last private jet. The last private jet I see. You might be familiar with this private jet. Any guesses in the chat what private jet I saw in relation to NASCAR? Anybody? You got BS from Santa Cruz. Anybody have any guess on what private jet I saw that was clearly identifiable? You see remnants of this private jet all the time. Not NASCAR, not NASCAR's private jet. No, Lisa, you're not correct. You're incorrect, Lisa. Whose private jet do you think I saw flying over that was clearly identifiable, about to land at Elmira Airport near a NASCAR event? Come on. Who's big in NASCAR right now? Who's the biggest name in NASCAR? Never raced a car in his life. No, that'd be nice. Trump's private jet, not Air Force One. Sup? All right, Dan from Alabama, Tuscaloosa. Yeah, my daughter went to Alabama. Roll Tide, Dan. Not Grant Cardone, American Badass, gas price. John, who'd you say, John? Not Chase Elliott. I don't know who that dude is. Who, John? Not Trump. John got it right. Look at the chat. Look at the chat. Yeah, boy. Sam, that's right. I saw MJ's private jet because you could tell it's his. He has that camouflage look to it, the way that Nike Air Jordans have. MJ's. That's right, John. And it had the logo on the back of it, the Air Jordan logo. Food Trader has it right. I saw it land, and I'm like racing around to drop this passenger off so I can get a selfie with me of Michael Jordan getting out of the plane. But he'd already gotten onto a helicopter before I could get there. But I felt like royalty. It's like that is super sweet. Um, how about that for a funny story? There you go. Trump would have been cool. I would have been down for Trump. I like famous people. Food Trader fire. Okay, we got 35 people in the chat. All right, so there you go. You got another story out of me. You guys are doing pretty good. Um, I said I'd leave you with one final story in this chat today. Let's see what we got here. I said burp. I love you. Drone, vibrator story, all good stories. I saw Michael Jordan's airplane last weekend. That was really cool. And by the way, on that Uber ride from Ithaca to Elmira, paid $30. Paid $30. $35. Let me tell you. This is an amazing story. Dude, this is an amazing story. Okay, so I saw MJ's plane. But that is not the most amazing part of that Uber ride. 2 years ago, Christmas time, I pick up a person in Ithaca, and I'm going to take him to Syracuse, which is like an hour away, to the airport. Semester's over, it's Christmas break, whatever. But I remember this guy because he's a law student at Cornell University. Now, most law students look a certain way. This guy didn't look that way. Beard, kind of a scraggly beard, not like a tight beard, but a scraggly beard. He's wearing a sweatshirt and flip-flops. He's going to Florida for vacation. Now, law students and MBA students are notorious bad tippers. Syracuse and at Cornell, they're just really bad tippers. So I was like, oh, he's a law student. So I'm driving an hour up to the Syracuse airport 2 years ago, taking this guy up to the Syracuse airport, thinking I'm not going to get a tip. So I'm going to get paid $50 for an hour-long trip or whatever. That's no big deal, but whatever. I wanted to get a tip. So then I dropped him off at the airport. He didn't say anything the whole time, had his headphones on, dropped him off, said goodbye, walked out. And he had just like a duffel bag that he put in his lap. He didn't have like a real bag. So I go across the street of the airport. Syracuse is a small airport. You can go right off there. And there's a Delta Sonic car wash. If you're from the Syracuse area, you know what I'm talking about. I go get the outside of my car washed. Then I go get the interior washed. I've been there about an hour washing my car, bumming that I didn't get a big tip or any tip from this ride. And then, bloop, notification from Uber, $60 tip. I love that. 5 minutes later, bloop, notification from Uber, $60 tip. What is this? I go and I look in the app, $120 tip. That guy tipped me $120. I know, right? I'm like, what? Now, fast forward, fast forward to last weekend. School's out. I'm picking up somebody at Cornell. I pick up that's fun. And this guy, flip flops, sweatshirt, scraggly beard. I didn't talk to him one time the trip, other than like, hey, how are you? Whatever. The first 3 minutes of a trip. Oh, law student. He said he's a law student. And I'm thinking to myself, like, is this the same guy? I think it is. This is last weekend. I think I'm taking the same guy. So we're driving 30-minute trip to the airport. He's going to a different airport, flying to Florida, whatever. Whole trip with his headphones on. And I'm like, driving, I think this is the guy. Oh, look, Michael Jordan's airplane. I think this is the same guy. I think it's the same guy. And so when we get to the airport, safe travels. I wish you the best. Sure enough, in the chat, let me know. Did I get a tip? Was it the same guy? Did I get a tip? If so, how much? Go ahead in the chat. I'll pull open the trip on my trusty Android phone here. I do not like Android, but it is my Uber phone. Come on, let me see in the chat here. We got 30 of you guys out here. I want to hear. Did I get a tip? How much was it? Same guy, $60 tip from Susan. It's a Friday. Let's see here. Let's see earnings activity. Oh, can I pull it up? I can. $3 tip, $14 tip. I get a lot of tips from Uber Eats, man. I crush it in the Uber Eats world. I'm really good at getting an up tip on my Uber Eats. So Susan says, same guy, $60 tip. Let's see here. Chelsea, $60. David, 120. Yeah. Daryl says 20, same guy. Well, obviously it's the same guy, right? Yeah, the same guy. Question is, did he tip me? And I don't know if I'll be able to see this here or not, but for those that were looking, $60 tip, $39 trip, $60 tip, $99. How sweet is that? Same guy. That dude has tipped me $180 on 2 trips, and we've said 5 minutes worth of conversation. Paul, what's going on, Paul? Member of the channel. Shout out, Paul. Yeah, I know, right? So that's the benefit of driving in a small town. You start to take the same people over and over again. So I'm very cognizant of who's tipped me and who hasn't tipped me, and and those are trips. I avoid people once they do that. Yes, I do. Stanley. Stanley makes a great point in the chat here. He goes, do you normally thank regulars you remember getting tips from? Yes, I do. And here's another thing I do, Stanley. Listen, can you hear me? If I pick up somebody that I've picked up before and they didn't tip me, here's what I do. Hey, how are you? Good to see you again. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Thank you so much for that 5-star review and that tip last time. I really appreciate it. Even though I know they didn't tip me. I do that every single time. They typically, I'd say about half of them tip. So I thank them for a tip that I did not get. And I bet you in their mind, they're like, did I tip him last time? Did I? Oh, I didn't tip him last time. I don't remember. So they tip me that time. There's a little, if there's one Uber secret advice, I will tell you that tips, you can make good money on tips. Just so you know, last week, including that $60 tip, how much do you think I earned in tips? I earned $258 in tips on 60 trips. I did some Uber Eats orders and stuff like that. Like, okay, here's another thing you can do. You do Uber Eats, right? If you've done Uber Eats, I've done Uber Eats, whatever, DoorDash, whatever. You hand the bag to the food of food to people. They want to like give you the code or whatever. Thank them for the tip. I know on Uber Eats, I don't know if I got a tip or not. Thank them anyway. You're handing them the pizza, the Taco Bell, whatever, the 20 pounds of mulch, whatever. You hand them the stuff, and then he's like, "Thank you so much for the tip. It really means a lot to me." People will 9 times out of 10 will up their tip. They will do it. So I'm just telling you, tipping is a good way to make money. Don't don't shy away from it. You gotta earn it. You gotta earn it. I'm not saying do crap rides and have your car be a mess and all that other stuff. You gotta earn it. In my area, giving a 5-star often prompts the next day for a 5-star. Do you want to leave a tip? Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. John, Uber Eats is okay. I think you can make more money doing Uber X on the base fares and the tips and stuff like that. But Uber Eats is good if you do it right. Like I've been getting a lot of bonuses. Like I got another $50 bonus tonight for Uber Eats. So I'll go do some Uber Eats with bonuses, something like that. But always thank people for tips. I think the kinder you are, the more likely you're gonna get a tip. All right, let me get to my last story here. Let me get to my last story. So I did burp, I love you, drone, vibrator. I think vibrator story is one of the funniest stories around. Let's talk about the one time in my 28 years of marriage. I've been married about 28 years now. I'm pretty sure it's 28. I don't know. I lose track. I got hit on. That's right. I know between being bald, being a little too fat, short, I'm 5'6", I'm a short guy. Um, people don't hit on me. That's not true. Okay, let me take this step back. There was a restaurant guy. I went to this taco place a bunch, and this one waiter at the restaurant, I was positive was trying to hit on me, this guy, gay guy. Um, I guess I give off those vibes. I'll take it. But I'm pretty sure he was hitting on me. But let me tell you about this one time I got hit on. It was the only time. And I think about this a lot. Women think Uber drivers are hitting on them all the time, or Uber women drivers think the guys are hitting on them. I don't know. I'm sure it is happening. Guys are kind of guy. So I totally get it. But as a guy driver, nobody hits on me. And I was like, how would I ever respond to it? Well, I'm going to tell you how I responded to it. It was a wedding. It was a wedding, north of Cicero kind of area, north of Syracuse. I picked up a wedding. I picked up 3 passengers at a wedding, a husband and a wife and another person, right? And that another person's always the worst, right? It was a girl. That's the one. So the husband and the wife, they sit in the back seat, and the girl, I say girl, grown woman, 30s, something, maybe 40, I don't know. Grown woman sits over here in the passenger seat. And this I had to drop. It was the strip had stops. It had 2 stops actually. It was 3 stops. Stop, stop, then the last stop. So 3 stops. The first stop as I picked them up was to the gas station. Even though they all 3 of them were drunk out of their mind, they wanted to pick up some more beer. I don't know. I did it, whatever. So we go to the gas station, they go get more beer. The husband and wife, they're kinda getting it on in the back seat. Not the actual deed, but they're kissing, they're hugging, they're fondling in the back seat, and the girl to my right, the woman to my right, she knows this is happening too, alright? So we're driving, and the husband and wife in the back seat, they're doing their thing. I'm like, "Mhm. How about that wedding?" Trying to distract them, but no. I dr We get to the stop, and it's tough to get them out of the car. They're that drunk, and you have to kinda pull them apart to get them out of the car. I'm like, "Okay. Alright, get them out of the car. Door shut, doosh, doosh." I got another 15, 10-minute drive or whatever with this woman over here on this side, and then she leans into it. Now, I'm just sitting in my driver's seat driving. She's like, "Hey, can we turn the music up a little bit? I like this song." and it was, I don't know what song it was, but it was like a romance song. I'm like, sure, yeah, yeah. She goes, "Oh, I really, this song really, this song speaks to me." That kind of stuff. Oh, I remember one time, she's just reminiscing. And so I'm driving though, like this. You got hand on the steering wheel, and I'm driving my Prius at the time, and my other hand on the stick shift. You know. Oh no, was I in the Prius? I think I was in the because my hand was on the stick shift. It must have been in my Toyota Avalon, my first car I had. So hand on the steering wheel, hand on the stick shift, because my Prius stick shift is on the dash, and that's kind of stupid. So it was down there, something like that. And she had like a couple of accidental glances, brushes of her hand on my hand. So I put my hand up high. She's like, "Can I listen to another song? I'm just feeling lonely tonight." Like, okay. I might be 40 something at the time, my late 40s, but I remember I was 20 something once. I'm like, okay, I kind of know what's going on here. I kind of know what's going on. And even though I'm happily married, I'm not looking for anything. There's this sense of flattery. I don't think anybody's other than my wife has found me anywhere near attractive enough to say nice things to me since, I was in my early 20s. And she, the subtle touches of the hand, the I'm feeling lonely tonight. And, so the hair on the back of my neck is kind of raising up a little bit. I'm flattered, but I'm also on guard. I look up, my dash cam's still recording. Okay, good. That's good. Eyes on road. Focus, focus. Don't lose focus, Levi. I get to her house. What do you think she does? You know, I've been robbed before. Have I had this big fear of entering my house alone? Will you walk me to the door and check to make sure there's nobody in my house to rob me? Get the hell out of my car, woman. No, I am not. I'm like pushing her out of my car. There's no way no, I'm not walking you to the door. No, I, I feel that story happened in the Bible, right? Isn't that the same story with the potter's wife or whatever? I am no, she's got game, Jose. She's got game. You see, it's funny. Susan says psycho. Jose's like, she's got game. Just sees how we all see things differently. Maybe if I was single, I don't know. But man, I am happily married. I am not with you. Now, if it was like some celebrity star, I'd have to call my wife first, like, hey, honey, I know it's cheating on you, but come on, look. It's Jennifer Aniston or so Angelina Jolie, whoever, I don't know. But I was so there's a weird feeling though. So she ended up getting out and walking to her car. I said, "I'll sit in the car and I'll shine my high beams on your house." But she downtroddenly slumped to her house. You know, she knew she wasn't. I wasn't getting in that car. We're going into her house, but and I immediately call my wife as soon as that ride was over. I'm calling my wife. Hey, honey, love you. Just so you know, here's the story. I'll let you look at the dash cam footage. And my wife is like looking at the dash cam footage, like she can see the smile on my face, the smirk, the little bit of flattery. Mm, there you go. There you go. You got some pretty good stories out of me today. Isn't that funny how, as Uber drivers, Lyft, whatever, taxi drivers, whatever you do, we have these really good stories, don't we? It's like, because you're part of people's lives. For those brief moments, there was a wedding going on, or that drunk dude in my car, that Chinese girl trying to get to Brooklyn, hoping that I wasn't some sort of psycho killer trying to kill her or anything like that. I think about that all the time. The human connection element is so big. And we as drivers have that special moment where people are trapped in our car for a brief moment, whether they have their headphones on, they're diving into their phone or whatever, or they want to chit chat it up, they want to talk about the weather or whatever. For a brief moment, we're all there together. And I think it's really special. I think it's really neat. I like it a lot. And yeah, Well, let's see where everybody else is at here. We got 30 people in the chat. I'm willing to stay in the chat for a little bit longer here. I like all these stories. Kevin says 285 is closed this weekend in Atlanta. Should for make for fun traffic. Dude, Kevin, everything in Atlanta sucks for traffic. It's the worst. One of the worst places. Susan says, great stories. Levi loves people. Great occupation for me. Yeah, it sure is. It really is. I got some dates from Uber. Jay got dates from Uber? Nice. That is really nice. I guess. Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, thank you. More exciting than accounting. Yeah, way more exciting than accounting, Susan. No doubt. No doubt. Um, I love the stories and the connecting with people and stuff like that. That's why I even though sometimes I make more money doing Uber Eats or something like that, I'm sure there's more money in like Amazon Flex or whatever. I don't know. It's just fun to be out and about meeting people, kind of being a part of their lives. It's fun. The drunk stories are not that fun. The drunk stories are only fun after you kinda go through them and stuff like that. Um, let's see here. Anybody else out here in the chat? You guys, there's 23 of you left. Do you wanna hear a little inside baseball and what's going on with the YouTube channel and stuff like that, the brand? Does that matter to you at all? There's 23 of you left here. Lots of drunks. John, there's lots of drunks in Nashville, but there's lots of drunks everywhere, man. There's drunks everywhere. Anybody want to hear any kind of back into the business side of this? I'm stalling because I don't want to go Uber drive yet. It's what, 2, 3 o'clock, whatever. John says, sure. The quest of the last month or so I have not been very encouraging. Sure, let's hear it from Sam. All right, John, Sam, you guys convinced me. Wait, there's no simple thing with Levi, so you have to bear with me on this. All right. We have Woo Girls. What is that? I'll leave that in the chat. You guys discuss whatever Woo Girls there is. Okay. Let me tell you what's going on with the channel and stuff like that. This is kind of like a behind the scenes. This is kind of the same stuff I might talk about too, by the way. If I was with the members. So if you want to join Thrive, Thrive is the $3 a month. These are the kind of videos that I produce for Thrive. I let them know a little bit more behind the scenes, how I do things and stuff like that, the way I produce stuff. And it really helps. It really does help. Okay. So I used to be an accountant, simplest terms. COVID came, an Uber driver convinced me to be an Uber driver. I started doing it and I realized I liked it. I did the math. I said, I can make this work to pay the bills, et cetera, et cetera. But I wanted to transition from being a desk person, like working as an accountant, and I did much more than accounting, but just to say accounting, to being an artist and a writer. What COVID gave me was this insight to, do I want my rest of my life to be this? Do I want the rest of my life to be, ooh, my battery's gonna die. Let me fix this here. All right, let's make sure the phone stays plugged in. All right, there we go. You guys still got me? Let me know. I'm gonna keep talking. Okay. Camera was about to die there. Okay. I wanted to, I questioned whether I should be sitting at a desk making good money. I made good money, but doing whatever work to actually doing something fun, which is Uber driving, making a little bit of a living, scraping by, but becoming an artist, a writer. Now, I'm a Christian and I believe God created us as humans and we're created in his image. So we're creators too. So I think we, you, me, we're all destined to be creators and artists. And so I started writing and I started creating those vignettes and those stories. I didn't share a lot of them. I wrote them out with you guys today. I just told them, and that's kind of funny, but um so I was like, that's what I want to do. I'm going to write and tell stories. Now that writing and telling stories doesn't pay much at all at first. So I created a YouTube channel, what you're watching on right now, as a way to demonstrate to other businesses how to create YouTube channels. And it kind of it's taken off. And so now officially a YouTuber, and I'm monetized on X and I'm monetized on TikTok also. You can follow these things on Spotify. But the channel, the brand, Tip You in the App brand has grown r- really well. It's not paying me enough or I don't Uber drive. And I need Uber to do what I do anyway. So I'm always going to be an Uber driver. I'm not going to be one of those content creators that doesn't do the gig, that just tells you how to do the gig. I'm going to be a practicing driver to do that. The way I see this, I love this little line, by the way. I see Uber rides, the stories, as logs for my fire. I wrote that down. I need to massage that a little bit still, but that fire is the yearning, the desire to tell stories and human connections. That's what really matters most to me. So I can't. I'm never going to escape Uber driving until the final autonomous car hits Syracuse, and then they won't let me do it anymore. I'm always going to be doing it. So I got this channel, and it's good. It's really good. I love producing content and connecting with you guys. But I think there's like a couple of different types of YouTube channels out there, brands. I think the first one that most people, whether you're a driver or not, you're not familiar with, are the YouTube content creator, whatever TikTokers that make content that show you like kind of like scenes, like dash cam footage of wrecks or a drunk person throwing up in your car. That's not really a human connection. I mean, those stories are kind of interesting, but They're just they're like, uh, almost like a thirst trap or some sort of like eye-catching thing. They're and so it's there's like that. That's what like my wife sees some content creators that are like that, and she's like, "Oh, there's an Uber driver," and I'm like, "Yeah, that person's probably not even driving. They're just making those videos." Um, then you have a content creator that I think we're most familiar with as drivers that tell you how to be a good driver. Um, I would say like the rideshare guy is a good example. How to be a good driver. So when Show Me the Money Club, when we watch those videos, they're telling us tips and tricks on potentially how to make the most amount of money. And so if you look at Harry's channel, that's kind of what it is. How do you make the most amount of money? You turn your app sideways and you click here, go whatever, whatever. Now I first started doing that. Stick with me on this. I first started doing that. When I first created this YouTube channel, I just started doing what I know how to do best is like, "Oh, here's how to wash your car and keep it clean to get more tips," or whatever. And, spreadsheets, in fact, some of my experiments or some of the bigger videos I've produced, like I declined 184 trips. Here's the spreadsheet I created from that. Here's the data and the analysis because I'm an accountant and an economist. It's kind of cool. I like that stuff, but it's kind of reverting back into accounting world. And then the third type of channel that's out there is the channel that hates Uber. You know what I mean? I love a lot of those content creators too. So I'm not going to sit here and dog them out, but they make their money, they get their views from how much they hate Uber and Lyft or the door. And there's good reason too, by the way. I'm not justifying these algorithms by any stretch. I'm just saying that that's how they make their money. That's what they do. So those are the three types of baseline thing. I was thinking like, what kind of channel, what kind of content do I really want to produce? Now that I have a little bit of an audience, what really speaks to my heart? And it's you. I want to create content that tells your story. That's what really matters most to me. I feel that Uber drivers, Lyft, whatever, DoorDash workers, whatever, gig workers, we're kind of like the bottom of the barrel of society to some extent. Not in a negative way. It's kind of like if you lost all your income, your job, whatever, you're about to lose your house, whatever. A lot of people are like, "Oh my god, I got to do something today to make money. What can I do? I'm going to go drive for DoorDash. I'm going to be an Uber driver." And within minutes, you can go through the app, you're driving people. It's like a fail safe. It's like the last resort, the Alamo, whatever. If worst comes to worst, no matter what, honey, I will be an Uber driver. It's kind of like the mindset of it. And then, to one of those other things. Yeah, I love Torsten. He's great. um, but you go, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this here. Bear with me. We go back to that previous conversation where people get in your car and they keep their headphones on and they barely acknowledge your existence. That's what I think of when I think of the stories that need to be told. Because not even saying hello is a sign of almost disrespect. The pursuit of artificial intelligence and robots to replace us, Waymos and robotaxis and Zooks and all those kind of things, it's kind of like we don't matter. And I think you do matter. I think I do matter. I think what we do matters. We keep drunks off the road. We know our cities really well. We help people get to work, to get them to the airport on time. And if you're really good at what you do, it deserves to be recognized, but there's no entity that recognizes you other than that last passenger. So that's the kind of content, the stories that I really, really, really want to tell. That's really what I want to tell. So, okay, I launched the channel as a how-to channel. Mm, and I can still do some of that stuff. I do like the experiments. I love when Zeke and I do kind of like games or whatever. That's kind of fun. But I like the vignettes and the stories of the passengers, and I'll write those stories still. But it's hard for me to share those stories sometimes because some parts of the stories are I need to protect the anonymity of the passenger. So I've been creatively coming up with ways, things I can think about that, hey, is there a way that you and I can connect and tell your story? So here's what I plan on doing the direction of the channel, a long way to tell you what the direction of the channel is and why it matters so much to me. I'm going to continue to produce the Daily Drive podcast because I like it. It's fun. It's fun to kind of talk about those type of things. I'm going to continue to write like a lot of Uber drivers. I have a book in the works. Maybe one day I'll publish it, maybe not. I don't know. I think what I want to do is drive to your city where you're at and meet you and record a podcast with you. Not to talk shop. I mean, we could talk Uber. That's fine, whatever. But I want to drive and meet you face to face. And I want to know, like, where do you take your breaks? Do you have a dog? That's cool. Oh, why do you drive really late at night? Who are some of the people that you've met? I want to tell your story. I want to get out and drive around and meet drivers and do long form podcasts. I'm calling the brand of that. It's going to be on this channel. It's not going anywhere. I'm not going to create a new channel. It'll just be part of it. But it's called Where Are We Going? And I really want to do it where I don't know where the conversation is going. I just want to meet you and hear and talk. There are so many I don't know about you guys, but I get lost in TikTok and I see so many drivers out there. Today's day 5 of me paying off my credit card debt. And I love those stories. I really, truly do. It's like I'm Uber driving to pay my credit card off, and today's day 5. And it resonates with me so much. That's where my heart is, and that's what kind of is out there. And I think it's unique. I don't think a lot of other content creators are doing something like that. There you go. Let's see the chat. You guys didn't even chat about anything. There's 30 of you guys out there. For Levi, do you used a Uber decal on your car? No, not really. I do not. I have one in like a placard that I can slide up on my dash, but I probably haven't used it in 6 months. I think a lot of drivers, depending upon your airport, though, you have to. So heads up. If I go to like JFK or big airport, I pull it out and I put it on, but I don't use the decal. I normally kind of say stealth as a driver. There you go. That's what's going on with the channel. So, if you want to be a part of those interviews, um, I'd love to go. I'm going to try and stay in the Northeast first. I can probably go as far west as Chicago or something like that, but um, Northeast Chicago, that kind of thing. Maybe one day I'll get out to California, but I talked with the members of the YouTube channel, and they've given me their numbers, and we're connecting, and so I'm setting up kind of a trip where I travel to different cities to meet you guys. And it's not to do meetups. They're not where we're all going to meet up in a parking lot and chat or whatever. It's going to be a podcast experience. And I've got to buy some equipment to produce this because I got to produce it in a car. Um, that's kind of the style that I want to do. So I've got to figure out those production issues, whatever. But if you're interested in telling your story, and your story doesn't have it could be anything. Why you like golf? I'd love to talk golf. That would be great. Um, I don't care. I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Um, and then we'll do a podcast around it. It could be 30 minutes, it could be 3 hours. Um, yeah, I'm really excited about it. That's the next step for the channel. So I'm going to continue to do the daily drive. I'm going to continue to do one-off kind of video projects that I like to do or whatever. So that's pretty good. Albert says he got an $80 tip. TV Radio says I will do this. I've been driving for 3 years, 11,000. I bet you do. So this is not a sales pitch. I'm not trying to force you guys into this, but for my organizational planning, TV Radio 411 as an example, love you. It's great. Thank you. It's hard for me to get in communication with you. So join the membership of this channel. It doesn't, you don't have to if you don't want to do it, but to help me stay organized. That's how I'm organizing this trip. I'm going to the members of the channel, the Thrive members of this channel, and it's $3 a month. It's not like a lot of money here, but it helps me stay organized. If there's one thing I'm not organized. One of the reasons why I'm a great Uber driver is they give me jobs. Every few minutes, I get a job. That makes things very simple. I hate scheduling meetings. I hate, so I love those kind of things. Gerald, is it Gerardo Baron? See if I said that wrong. Excuse me. I want to say Gerardo, but I'm having a brain freeze. Sorry. I've been a taxi driver for 20 years. You analyze things and recount experiences the way I always experience them, especially the way I approach work. My pleasure, man. I'm glad I'm able to do that. Mm. Are you guys about to go drive tonight? It's 3:30 here on the East Coast, 3:21. Are you gonna go drive tonight? Let me know. John says it's an interesting idea. I appreciate it. Yeah. It's a big creative risk. It's gonna cost me a lot of money to do this. And so I'm trying to get some level of sponsorships to help offset the cost. I got to pay for the traveling. Oh, you're from Argentina. All right. Messi, right? Let's see what happens this year in the World Cup, right? I love football. I love soccer. In fact, that's one of the cool things about, let me give a shout out again to, again, people that are helping pay for a lot of this kind of stuff. Gig U, Gig U, sponsor of the channel. They're from Brazil. So we talk football all the time when I get on the thing. Oh, Lisa, you're out driving right now. That's nice. I'm thinking about getting going. I don't know. I'm ready to get back in my Tesla. As a non-gig driver, I'd watch the videos. Well, thank you, Susan. I appreciate it. I really truly appreciate it. I will tell you that the format is not just in the long run going to be Uber drivers. I'm hoping that it transitions into non-Uber drivers. I'm thinking of ways to get non-Uber drivers to experience what it's like being an Uber driver. So there's a couple of things I'm doing. So putting them in the driver's seat and then having to talk to me in the back seat. I think most people don't understand that. That communication is so different. I can't see the person talking to me in the back seat. I'm driving a car. So I'm only using audible ways of communication where that person in the back seat gets all the nonverbals. If I'm driving and I'm looking around and I'm animated in my conversation, they get the verbal and the nonverbal communication. You ever hear of like people saying, why does my Uber driver keep talking to me? You ever see like a video, a TikTok about that? And I think the reason why isn't that the driver is just a talker. The driver probably is, but they're not getting nonverbal cues. that the person doesn't want to talk. They're not seeing the person roll their eye or looking at their phone. They're talking and the person goes, "Oh, uh-huh, uh-huh." So the driver thinks, "Oh, we're having a conversation," but all along that person's trying not to talk. So I think that's really interesting. I'm trying to do that. John says, "A passenger perspective would be cool." Yeah, exactly. Uh, Abria says, "The Uber platform is changing. They're going like DoorDash, where we'll need to set a schedule." Ooh, really? That'd be interesting. Yeah, like a subscription. I heard that. We'll see what happens. Terry's like, "Nah, I drive from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m." That's when I normally drive, but it's a Friday night. I'm gonna probably go out. I'll probably just do Uber Eats tonight, to be honest with you. I'm kind of tired. Even though I love people and I love the stories, there are times when I don't want to deal with people. I'm going to listen to a podcast, to be honest with you. It's the PGA Championship week. So doing Uber Eats, I can listen to a podcast about what's going on with the PGA Championship and just do that for a couple hours. Craig says, "I like your accounting Uber reviews." Yeah, those are a lot of fun to do. They're a lot of work though. Like to see a difference between Uber driver and Uber Eats, maybe in some shopping. I think shopping and delivery uses less mileage on the car. Oh, for sure. But Craig, I have a video on my channel, Uber Eats driver versus an Uber driver. It's pretty fun. It's more of a fun video, but it does show you the numbers. John says, "I like the night crowd plus I'm not a morning person." Fair enough. I like the monetary analysis too, Craig. Yeah, the monetary analysis is fun. So here's some other. You want to hear some other tests that we're gonna run? I've got some other tests that we're gonna do. So my friend Zeke, right? If you've seen any of my videos, Zeke has been in a few of them. He's a great friend of mine, another Uber driver. Recently, my Tesla has been in the shop, so I've been driving the Prius. But Zeke and I will compare like what's going on his app and my app. My surges have been bigger than his. So we're in the city, same city, we're sitting right next to each other, and my surge will say $6 and his says 4. We don't know why. So we're trying to figure that out. So we're going to do like an experiment where I drive my Prius and he drives his Tesla. And then, well, we sign up like that. We turn the app on like we're driving those cars, excuse me. And for an hour, we're just going to see what rides come in. And if I'm in my Prius, do I get bigger surges? Is that a thing? The second thing that we're going to do is an experiment where we go back. We'll do that same experiment, then we'll go back to Tesla and Tesla. So we'll both have Teslas at the same time, the Tesla Model Y, and then we'll see if our surges level out. Now, I get different bonuses than him too. So, but it's just really interesting that I get like I had an $11 surge the other day, and his was like 8. I had $3 more on my surge. So that was interesting. Fred, what happened to my Tesla? It's like a wiring problem. I think a rodent honestly got into it between the salt corrosion and a rodent. It shorted a couple of things, so it shorted out the 12-volt battery. And so I'm letting Tesla do all of their testing for the next 2 weeks or whatever with my car, and just to make sure all the wiring and the connections are good, so I can take it back out. So it's probably going to be somewhere between 500 to $1,000, $2,000. I don't know. I'm really not happy. It's not a Tesla problem. It's a problem of me not having a garage and a squirrel probably getting in there. I don't know. Um, but it is what it is. I'm paying a lot of money to make sure that it's fixed. I'm always going to buy Tesla. There's no way you can convince me I should get another car. People try to convince me like, oh, you should have got a Toyota. I've had Toyotas my entire life. I'm a Tesla guy now. Here's another experiment we're thinking of doing for the money side to it. So Zeke and I sat together, build a garage. I'm an Uber driver, Susan. Um, Building a garage, not my kind of money. Maybe if that podcast I did takes off in 3 years from now, I'll build a garage. But right now, let's just pay the mortgage and put some food on the table. Um, okay. Me and Zeke sat at a diner for an hour and a half or whatever, and we declined every single trip to measure who got better trips. It was diamond versus blue was the test that we did, right? And if you've seen that video, it's 404 was the number or whatever in the video. Did a really good video and analysis of that. And it's proof positive that me and Zeke got the same trips. The only difference is because I was a diamond driver, I got the 5% perk. So we did that. Now we're gonna sit in separate locations, maybe a mile or two away from each other, and do the same experiment. What we're looking for is, can we figure out, triangulate the pickup miles and the what do we get paid for to pick up? Because one of the numbers you don't really know, it's really difficult. Am I a one income household? Well, I'm a multiple income household, but I'm a one person earning the money income household. My wife is a lovely stay at home wife for the last, after she finished college when we first got married. She's been a stay at home mom the entire time. It's been great. So whatever I do, whatever I bring home, Uber wise or YouTube money wise, it's what we make. Mm. So we got a couple of more experiments coming around the pipe. Zeke and I have talked about doing like a road trip, turning the app on and just seeing where we end up. That was kind of fun. That was my favorite video we ever made too. We both started at the Syracuse airport and we competed to see who can get the farthest away from the Syracuse airport by only taking rides. You had 12 hours and you couldn't just deadhead drive. You had to catch a ride. Who can get the farthest away? And that was really fun. That's my favorite video, and it probably got the least amount of views. It only got like 1,000 views. It was so much fun. Zeke and I calling each other, trying to trick each other, not telling each other where we were. It was really fun. Um, well, it's coming up on 2 hours. I gave you guys some pretty good stories. That was pretty good. I really appreciate it. Some of the back end of the business. There's 37 of you on the chat here. I really appreciate each and every one of you, whether you're a driver or not a driver. Um, you have any questions, any other things before I close out this live stream? 38 of you now. That's pretty good. I think the most I've ever gotten was like 120. I don't think we're gonna get there today though. 120 people on the live stream. My son says I'm a legit YouTuber if I can get over 100 people on the live stream. I don't know. I'm not much of I do watch live stream video games though. I watch Clash Royale. There you go. Fun stories today. Yeah, thanks, Susan. I really appreciate it. YouTube keeps telling me to set a monetary goal on my live streams. I have no idea how to do that. But every now and then somebody's donated money, like a $5 bill or whatever. I'm super appreciative of that. I'm not asking for it though. But join the channel, join the membership, become a Thrive member, especially if you want me to come out and interview you and do that. I say interview, have a conversation with you for the podcast. Um, because that's how I'm keeping things organized. Um, let's see here. Please utilize the sponsors, Gig U, Red Tiger. Um, great. They're really good people. I promise you, they're sponsors. I use them as their products. They're really, really good. Um, be safe tonight, tomorrow, this weekend. Please be safe. Enjoy the ride. Be safe. Earn as much money as you possibly can. But yeah, enjoy the ride. I'm gonna close this out. Even though there's 40 of you guys on here, I really appreciate it. World Cup is coming. Yeah, that'd be so. I would love to do that. Uber drive a lot during the World Cup. Have like a jersey ready for the game, for the match. That's what I would wear. If I wanted to get tips, that's what I would do for the tips. Um, for each one of you guys, please be safe, healthy, and happy, and know that I'm cheering for you. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining today. Be well, guys. Take care. I'm going to close it out. Bye.